Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Faye Watt, and let's queer up the USA view. The most pro-LGBTQ president in history has had the most harmful first 100 days on LGBTQ in history. There was a time not long ago when it felt like the arc of history might finally be bending towards justice for LGBTQ Americans. But in just 100 days, that arc has taken a terrifying plunge, marking the most devastating first 100 days for queer rights in presidential history. Leaders of log cabin Republicans have repeatedly told Queer News Tonight and told Al Ferguson that Donald Trump is the most pro-LGBTQ president in history. But the organization, both nationally and local chapters, have largely gone silent after the first 100 days of the new Trump administration. The LGBTQ community had made hard-won gains. Marriage equality had become law. Workplace protections were strengthened. LGBTQ leaders were visible across politics, media, and even the military. The Biden years felt like a breakthrough. Executive orders on day one protected queer Americans. Pete Buttigieg became the first out gay cabinet member. Admiral Rachel Levine, a trans woman, was appointed to a senior health position. The Respect for Marriage Act passed with bipartisan support. But today, and 100 days since the inauguration of President Trump's second term, many in the LGBTQ community say those gains are vanishing. Trump's first moves were executive orders targeting queer and especially transgender Americans. Gender-affirming care was smeared as mutilation. Trans service members were banned again. Pride celebrations erased. Diversity programs dismantled. LGBTQ HIV and AIDS funding has been slashed, both at home and abroad. World Pride events have been canceled just this week by Trump-controlled federal institutions. The impact? Hate crimes are rising. Queer youth suicide risks are spiking, especially after Trump removed suicide hotline support for LGBTQ plus kids. And it's only been 100 days. May 1st, 2025, 100 days into the new presidency, activists express fear and concern. Queer News Tonight will continue to tell this evolving story, but we ask, what lies ahead for the next 100 days, or the next 1,000 days, or even after that? I'm scared, folks. I am feeling Handmaid's Tale like nobody's business. Every single day there's another news story and it's targeted against us, targeted against Black and brown folks, targeted against immigrants, targeted against women. It's hard to be anything that is not a white cisgendered man these days, it's scary. I was speaking to, the folks over at SunServe over the weekend, and they said that they have received more calls in the last 4 months than they have in the last 3 years when it comes to queer youth needing help, when it comes to mental health crises being helped. It's crazy. The other day, and every day he's announcing something, right? The other day when I was on vacation, I saw that President Trump was offering people $5,000 to have children, right? Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that. $5,000. That doesn't even get you out of the hospital. $5,000, right? You don't make it easy to be a woman, but you also want women to have more children in this freaking country. They told us what they were going to do. They gave us Project 2025, and here we are living it out day by day, 100 days in, and it seems to just only be getting worse, unfortunately.
A roadmap that nobody believed.
That nobody believed, that these people would tell us to our face, Al, this is not going to happen. Why are you guys overreacting? They're not coming for you. It was written in black and white, and they've gone line for line in the last 100 days.
That's right. I'm curious to everybody at the table. There's no real, forgive me in making this assumption, none of us are really the hardcore LGBT activists that are in the fights. We're not the Equality Floridas, we're not SAVE, we're not National Task Force, we're not HRC. From your seats and what we've watched in the first 100 days, how do you, just as average LGBT, I know none of you are average, but as average LGBT voices representing different things in the community, what is it that you think you want to do next? You're watching the greatest attacks you've ever seen in your life. Ever. We've never seen anything like the last 100 days. Do we go into a rabbit hole? Where does this propel us?
I really want to sit I can't believe I'm saying this, the on the fencers, the ones who are not fully convinced that Trump is ruining our country, the ones who voted for him and later regretted it, but like don't really regret it. I want those people to sit down and really say out loud what their perspective is so that we can come to an understanding. Selfishly, the goal is to have them turn to our side, the side of common sense, the side of reading what's out there, the side of listening what they're saying and believing them. And if we can get that to happen some way, somehow, we get the numbers on our side. Now, the queer community is not small by any means. The people of color, the Black community, we're not small by any means, but we are divided amongst ourselves. I need us to come into one accord so that we have a singular mission, so that we can look at our representatives and be like, hey, collectively, this is what we want, clear as day. I want to remove the riffraff, this perspective, that perspective. I respect you all having your opinions. But clear as day, this is what is happening to us, okay? So if you are watching the video, comment down below, where is your current stance? Do you truly believe that Trump is destroying our country? Do you think he is saving our country? Do you think we are overreacting to his actions or the actions of his constituents? Please write down in the comments below, because I'm very curious to see where you stand. I want us to be all on the same page. The right page, ideally.
Yeah, it would have been great to be on that page 2 years ago.
Yeah, a little late.
A little late right now.
But we ain't got no choice.
The horse is literally out of the barn.
Yeah.
In terms of thresholds, we have to look at the November 2026 elections. It's the only thing we can concentrate on. Anything else is diversionary, because we have to take the House of Representatives back. It's an absolute. I've just told you, an absolute. We must take the House back, because taking the House back is the only opportunity for the next 2 years to be able to stop him. It's the only possibility. So that is a local political response, because it's congressmen in your areas. It's not even like the Senate, where it's the entire state. If we could take the Senate back, that would make a big deal.
And that's where Elijah is running?
Elijah Manley, by the way, is doing terrific. Gay, young, I think he's 26 here in Fort Lauderdale. In his campaign, Maxwell Frost is making amazing strides in Orlando, but across the board, that has to be our focus. And to your challenge, and you wish it was 2 years ago, it's in front of us. It is black and white. We must win the House of Representatives on the first Tuesday in November of 2026, or Trump sails through the rest of his term. And honestly, God forbid, he jokes about a third term.
Yep.
And there's a way that,
Honey, he wants to be Pope. He said he should be the next Pope.
Yeah.
Sure, if I could add into that.
Please.
So I agree with you 100%. The only way to make real change is to flip the House, and hopefully if we can flip the Senate too. But I'm not criticizing too hard some of the other people that are trying to do something, because there's only so much that can be done in a day. And there does need to be some kind of hope or public thing that's going on our 24 news cycle that
inspires
something
us,
else
like Cory
is
Booker.
doing.
Like when Cory Booker
Exactly.
was on for 26
Exactly.
hours. That was
not
inspirational.
that's going to make a difference in the legislation, but it does make a little bit of gives us a little bit of hope, right? So I've been trying to study the whole Trump phenomenon, because I know this will be written about in books for generations to come about what happened. And so I do believe with the LGBT bent that whenever you move to a culture too far, too fast, this is what happens. The pendulum, when it swings too far, too fast, too many people end up feeling like, wow, they just completely ran over to this side, and now I feel really defensive in my mob over here, my mob mentality, and then it swings back. And it swung towards, to Joe Biden. First it was Trump, and we're like, no, we're tired of this. Then it went to Biden, and then I think our community was like, okay, let's just do the most. And then it gave room to swing back to Trump. And I think that in our community, I see it all the time, where we are just demonizing people who are not necessarily bad people. Maybe their ideologies are a little old-fashioned, but there are inroads that we can make to help bring them to our side. And we often just don't do that, and we're like, you're just racist, you're this, you're this ist. And some people are, and we need to, you know, call that out when it's in the extreme form. But when everything is racist, everything is sexist,
Homophobic,
everything, it waters down the term, and then everybody just kind of tunes each other out. And so my hope, and maybe in answer to your question, somewhat, is that we need to be more understanding of the people who are different and have different ideas, because the majority of people don't have this. They're not MAGA. The brilliance, I guess, of what Donald Trump and his administration did was they figured out a way to game the system so that the minority can control the majority. You know, but we have the power, and we can make these people who are sitting out, who don't care about politics, care about us a little bit more and bring them to the ballot box.
Yeah.
So,
well, because we have to remember, we can't also demonize the Trump voters, right? Because they're not the only reason that we're here. 33% of people stayed the F home and didn't vote.
That's right.
And also our Republican senators. Like, I know it is so sexy for us to just dunk on Lindsey Graham and dunk on all of these people. And trust me, I hate them. I mean, you know, I strongly dislike them, but we need a few of them to crumble so that the rest of them feel comfortable of voicing their true opinion.
They're not going to listen to us. They're going to listen to them first.
As much as we are hating what they're doing and what they have done to get us to the situation we're in, we have to encourage them to flip and to start to crumble so that they could take him out right now if they wanted to. They could impeach and remove Donald Trump if they wanted to right now for what he's doing, but they're too scared, and we have to empower them to not be so scared.
Can I suggest, Faye, I think your story is interesting because it marks what has happened in the first 100 days, and we've not ever in our lives, you know, I turned 65 in July. Never in my life have I ever seen anything that affects so many people so badly in so many different ways in 100 days, ever in my entire life. One ray of hope that I would point out is one of the greatest, and I just take a moment to congratulate one of the greatest voices that we have listened to in the last 100 years has been somebody from our community. And I just publicly am so grateful to Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow has warriored coming out of basically semi-retirement of doing once a week at MSNBC on Monday nights to doing it 5 nights a week for the first 100 days. And thank God she did, because her voice has been crystal clear, bell clear. This is what's happening, and are you paying attention to it? This is what's happening. She has broken through all of the MAGA and Trump and Pam Bondi and Vice President Vance nonsense completely. She has pierced it. And the principal charge that Rachel Maddow has helped be a true lighthouse in a beacon so we don't crash on the rocks of the shore is to say protest for protest. For protest's sake, she has reported and reported and reported the growth of protests all over America, showing what's happening and what's happening and what's happening. She has broken through the nonsense of what we're watching. And to me, that is part of your challenge and my question of all of us. She is suggesting, like the Tesla protest, that just protesting in and of itself, because we have no power and no control, our protest of showing up is enough. And she's beginning to break through on that. He is not above water in any poll, including Fox News. As many as 60 to 70% of Americans disagree with every single thing, including immigration, that he's doing. And it doesn't matter. That's how strong it is. And so Rachel Maddow is helping us go protest for the sake of protest. It's really, really a good strategy. And I just want to say, over the last 100 days, she has been a reliable Bible on television for me.
The only thing that's gotten me through it is Rachel Maddow every day.
Yeah.
She frames it in the best way, and she's not snarky about it in the way that other people are like, he's the worst. She just says, this is what it is.
What's happening.
This is what it is. And it doesn't turn off people who are, maybe a different point of view. Exactly. And so I feel like that is our mission, is to be able to to present what's going on the way that she does. So
right.
everybody, she's going back to Monday nights on next week.
That's right.
So tune
This
in
is it,
and
this week.
and
And just one last thought on Rachel Maddow. We should be so proud of our community because she wears her relationship, her marriage with her partner. She is completely upfront, but she doesn't smash you in the face with her sexuality. And she has really led the voice in America from the LGBTQ community, and all of America is listening to her. We're very proud of her representation in our community.
Al, you only like her because you guys get your glasses at the same place. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by